guys are big on this, the XRP, the digital assets, the Stellar. Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's break that down a little bit. Are you guys all on the same team here, or is it a little different? What do you see here? Go ahead, Mel.
Yeah, no, XRP is going to take over. There's no doubt. You got to be blind, deaf, and stupid. You know, the only thing I'm worried about catching is not the C19. I'm worried about catching stupidity. You know what I'm saying? When I meet somebody that's pretty stupid, I want to get the hell out of their way as quickly as possible. So I'm afraid I'll catch that, you know? So, you know, because this is numbers and cents. This is like a pregnant woman. It either makes sense or it doesn't make sense. You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. You know, you can't be almost pregnant, right? We're pregnant. Trust me. We're extremely pregnant. And we're about to give birth. And when we give birth, you better stand back. When the world is ready to receive this asset class, it's going to be over, baby. It's going to be over.
Wow. Well, yeah, you're very confident, and I love that.
100%.
That's why people love and hate you, because you're so confident and you're so sure of yourself, which is great. I mean, people want somebody to lead us, right? We need leaders. And when we have people that are wishy-washy and telling you one thing one day and one day the other, and one thing the other, it's not working out too well. We're not being able to follow you. So XRP is the king. The queen, we're saying Stellar. Emily, what are we talking about when we talk about Stellar and Queen?
Yeah,
well,
for years, really, the nicknames they've been giving these assets and the blockchains themselves, right? It's like XRP is an institutional coin, and that's how you know what Mel's talking about. 100%, totally in alignment. And you know, for people who are not aware of QSI, yes, we do focus on Stellar because nobody had talked about Stellar before we came along. It was like bits and pieces, but no community out there. Nobody knew how to buy it. There was no how to put in place. So I kind of came along to fill that void. But we very, very much follow all of the other 4 blockchains of the ISO 2022, I guess, network or framework, so to speak. And we are 100% in alignment with what you know Mel talks about, what Chip talks about with XRP. But Stellar, so you know, we talked about how XRP is the institutional coin. Stellar is the people's network, and XLM is the people's coin. And the reason why that's really important to kind of denote is because we're not supposed to have XRP. We're not meant to have it because we're just people, right? We're like the retail side of it. We're not the institutional side of it. And so because, you know, we obviously are part of the inner knowing this like underground movement, we're grabbing as much XRP as we can, for sure. And we highly recommend that people do. But for the average person, they don't know what's going on, and they're going to miss this boat ride of the XRP, you know, mooning. And so, but what they can get involved in is Stellar, because there are so many thousands and thousands of assets that are part of the QFS ecosystem, and they're going to be mooning for the next couple of years. So nobody's going to miss out on the transfer of wealth. Too many opportunities, too many public confirmations, including I mentioned earlier, companies themselves will soon be saying, you know, announcing this on their own networks. And we've always been told that the companies will start, well, WIP and I will start first, and then the companies will come later, and then the governments will come, and after all is said and done, Stellar themselves will also be confirming that this has already been in place for a very long time. So there's going to be absolutely no denial of all of this. And I know we want to hear from Rita as well and Chip, but while we do have the 2 XRP viewers on here, I do want to take a moment to talk about the XRP buyback in a second, because we have confirmation that is 117 billion% going to take place.
Nice. Yeah, Chip, let's just get into your perspective on the XRP, the Stellar, and all these type of things.
Well, you know, funny enough, because Bitcoin Maxi, who's really well known and knows all the Bitcoin Maxis, was a good friend of mine and got me into the whole digital asset space back in 2013. He was, before I started doing my research, he said, well, no, XRP is a banker's coin and it's not decentralized. XLM is a truly decentralized network. So after Bitcoin, the very first next token I started acquiring was Stellar Lumens, XLM. That was the one. And then I finally started doing research and I said, you know, the best way to learn about this is to start broadcasting and start, you know, you learn, and then you learn from the audience. And then of course I have a really savvy co-pilot, co-host on the Chain podcast. But I would say that one of the great things about when you look at XRP, yeah, its first use case is cross-border payments, and what Emily's saying it's institutional. Yes, it is now, but people that watch our channel on YouTube, every time the show concludes, we get an email that says, "Hey, you've been sent this much because people have a coil this much XRP because they have a coil subscription. They pay $5 or $10 a month, and that's another use case." And then James Rule XRP, another podcaster out there, will throw us a super chat. And how does he do that? Through XRP. He's got a Visa card, and it uses that value, goes from his account, and then sends the value, converts it to fiat, and that's how it sends it. So there's a lot of use cases in play right now for XRP. The one we all are familiar with is the one that settles in 3 to 5 seconds. Full remittance you send something from from Miami to Tokyo, and it's there. There's no Nostra Vostra accounts. You don't have to wait for the money to occur. But I think what we're all starting to see is that something Brad Garlinghouse, who's the CEO of Ripple, said that 99% of these tokens are not going to survive, and he's probably 100% spot on right now. Once the shakeout starts happening, once you see the liquidity, and this is one of the things that is important to a new financial system is the liquidity part of it. It's one of the things that's very strong in the strong suit with the liquidity hub on the pro side of it that Ripple's built. Ripple makes software, and then you have the Stellar Foundation, and they just did this big deal with MoneyGram, who used to be partnered with Ripple at one point. And what's great about that is you can move something very fast, and you have these amazingly quick off ramps. So if you want to move back from Tokyo back to Miami, and then you get converted to fiat in 3 to 4 seconds. So a lot that are the same. A lot of people think it's that XLM is just it's a clone. It's a fork of the XRP ledger. That's not true. It actually has a different. It was built from the ground up. Yeah, that was true for the first 6 or 9 months, but they went in and re-engineered it. So that's why you have the similarities. They're similar, but they're different.
When we talk about this stuff, but I also want you to hit on the world and some of the things you see out there. I know you're big on certain countries, type of purchasing power. So what are you seeing for what's coming?
Well, it's interesting. Right now, there's a lot of Delaware corporations that are following. And if you think about Trump's executive orders of the clawback feature of taking money away from these bad guys, this is how some of the liquidity is coming in. Protocol 19, right, Emily? And Protocol 20 will mean we're done. And that's supposed to be within 90 days. So that's why a lot of people are focused on the middle of September. The quantum financial system, the GCR, the RV, the revaluation of the currencies, this all is connected together. Because if you want to look for a first domino, I believe this is it. And that would be the adjudicated payments. What are those? Well, those are the lawsuits that were won in federal court with the farmers and the Indians and the CMKX, and all of these different adjudicated payments must be made in asset-backed money. So that cannot happen until we announce we're asset-backed. Even if they don't quote announce it, like Nixon did in 71 when they took us off the gold standard, it was just a little bit of a speech. But whether we see an announcement or not, when those payments get made, we're there. And when will that be? Nobody does know the day or time. There are too many moving pieces that connect. Like if you think of the most intricate clock with all of the different wheels and mechanisms, they're all together, working together. But you mentioned the Bible earlier, and Kim Clement prophesied that Roe v. Wade overturned. He also prophesied that it was going to be a strange July, but then winter was going to make us happy. So, we're on a timeline with God as far as this year until the Jewish New Year in September.
Group mind meditation is the most powerful way to instantly change the consciousness of the planet Earth.
There was a study that was done with 24 United States.
And I really think that's where we're heading now as a culture. We are moving forward. We are leaving 3D consciousness. We are leaving the fear space. We are leaving the space where we're like Lot's wife, where we're looking back and we're trying to recreate, we're trying to put back the broken pieces of the puzzle, Humpty Dumpty, and put them back together again so we can go back. We're never going back. The financial system is imploding. The Georgia Guidestones are down this week. I mean, everything is happening. This is biblical.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, that's not Victoria. That is Gila. She's with us, and we have a special guest today, Kabbalah Guru, and we will be with him very shortly. First, I just want to say good morning to everybody, and welcome to the show. Another beautiful Sunday, and it's gorgeous out. We feel like we're in tropical climates right now in New York, and we are having fun. I had a campfire last night out of the house. We had a lot of people, and it feels like ancient times, you know, sitting around the campfire and telling stories and laughing and chasing children around everywhere. I was dunking them in the pool. So we were having a lot of fun. And we are going to be talking about all kinds of great subjects today, including religion and Sarah Jacera and star seeds and law of attraction, all kinds of things. So we're going to do a lot of great stuff today. We're going to have the guru with us for the first hour, and then for the second hour, we're going to get to our segments, the manifestation moments, the Greg Schumacher experience, and then we're going to talk about Gila's interview, and we're going to have some clips from that, and we're going to talk about some exciting things from that. So great show today. Everybody, welcome to Arise. Jarin, how you doing? The traveling motivational speaker, manifestation teacher, and cosmic human design coach. What's up, mister?
I'm doing great. Really looking forward to today. The phrase that comes to me in this conversation is being divinely led. You know, all of us here are divinely led, and we allow that energy to come through. And so may we have an awesome show with a lot of inspiration from Divine Spirit. And I want to say to everybody, please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe and share us around.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a big difference. If you're watching on Rumble, please like it. Absolutely. And we are going to be going off Facebook as well. So I just intro in the show, get you excited, and then I want to take you away. So we don't stay on Facebook because they are basically communists. So, all right, everybody, if you're watching on Facebook, go over to Rumble. We have the links below. All right, there we go, off Facebook. And now it's time to enter in our guest, Kabbalah Guru. All right, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Thank God, I'm doing great.
All right,
How
excellent.
are you guys? Everybody good?
I think so. I think we're all doing really well, right? I'll adjust you as we go here if I gotta. Editing is something that's very difficult sometimes, especially live. So we'll do the best we can. There we go. All right, everybody, there is a live chat board. Victoria isn't with us today, so she's not going to be on there. But if you want to write in, ask questions, those type of things, I will be keeping track of it as best I can. So today, what I wanted to talk about, first right off the bat, is so I saw a few really interesting things. And one of the things is, I don't know if you've heard of Tartanian history. Okay, so it is about this land that used to be kind of wireless powered and all that type of stuff. So pretty interesting stuff here. I just wanted to show a few things from that. And I'm going to bring this on over. So if you see the way these places were built, they're saying that this was free energy at one point, right? Did we have the city of Atlantis, already around us? Has our history been lied to? So I got a quick video here about it, and then we'll talk about it quickly. All right.
Tartaria, the largest, most advanced worldwide empire in history, intentionally destroyed by the Satanic Cabal. What's intrigued many of its researchers is the declassified document by the CIA which mentions the deletion of this country's history, although its remains are still everywhere. We've been indoctrinated with a false historical timeline. Our knowledge was erased and forgotten. These buildings were used for harnessing the ether and converting it into free energy. Their boats ran off free energy. The columns were electric, and the cathedral domes and towers were power stations for transmission of clean, free, and wireless energy. Later on, the parasites put crosses and other religious symbols to conceal the original purpose. Life back then was of community, of oneness, of health, and of technologies hidden from our timeline.
What do we think about that, crew? I mean, this is pretty interesting here. We think about our history, and we've been taught in these books, right? And even in the religions of our history and all that kind of stuff. But it seems like the more we start to awaken and get this vibrational levels up, maybe we're crossing timelines or something, but it just seems like our past is much different than we ever thought. And I think that all of this technology that we think is futuristic has already been in our past. It was just hidden from us all those years. What do we think here? Kabbalah Guru, let's start with you.
Yeah, it's a fascinating subject. I've been really almost obsessed with this topic for a while because the buildings in my neighborhood, I live in Brooklyn, are generally pretty plain and utilitarian. They're very useful in little boxes. And then we have these tremendous churches that are like, that the architecture with vaulted ceilings and towers. And I'm saying to myself, how can this be? I mean, I didn't even notice it until, I started watching these things about Tartaria. But I asked Ishmael about it, Ishmael Perez, and he said that, yes, we have no idea of our timeline. It could be very well that this structure, this civilization went well into the I think he was saying like the 1700s. That's kind of the timeline I'm looking at. But I will never look at buildings in the same way now. I mean, I'm constantly like just startled by the beauty and magnificence of some of these older structures.
Yeah, for sure. Gila, do you know anything about this, or what's your feeling about this? Your intuition?
Same as Guru. I mean, I wasn't as fascinated by this as Guru, but then he got me hooked on it. And now I notice it. I mean, it used to be whenever I traveled with my husband and I would see these magnificent buildings. I'm like, how did we forget to build like this? How did like we lose that? And it was always just a question mark in my consciousness. And now slowly it's being revealed to us that our history has been hidden.
Yeah, for sure. And Jarin, when we talk about, we love Tesla, of course, Nikola Tesla and the free energy thing. But do you think that it was like back then he already like got it working and everything was going, and maybe it wasn't even his quite idea, but it was something that you grabbed from the past? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, you know, what's interesting most to me is how recent it may be, you know, in our linear rational timing, how recent. I mean, studying things like Atlantis, the several periods, and Lemuria and Mu, you know, there's lots of civilizations that for me personally, I've been aware of and ultimately very much believe in and know that we had many incarnations there. And technology was extremely advanced in different ways. I think that there were certain technologies maybe that we have this time that maybe has never been before. I have a feeling that we're going to be transcending all that. Although I think there were many advanced civilizations. The amazing thing to me is when you think about those things, you think about, oh, it was a couple 100,000 years ago. This was 30,000 years ago. This was, you know, you hear all these phrases. Well, what if we're saying 1700s? I mean, that like shocks you. That's like yesterday. And that's the thing that is amazing in its negative scope. It's amazing how you can wipe memories clean from human beings over programming over time and how efficiently it can be done. And then it's even more amazing that we are being divinely energized to where we are rising to the point of retaining some of these memories and of realizing who we really are from being in the dark.
Yeah, and you wonder, like, you know, Men in Black, you've always saw that little thing they would flash in front of your eyes and you'd forget everything. As that happened in our history, right, where maybe this was, you know, 200 years ago, but we've just been wiped clean. We don't know. And I've seen a lot of, I love people who put these videos together because it just opens minds. And if the person is at least able to plant a seed or able to at least question something, then it's very interesting because it starts to put you down that rabbit hole of like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm seeing these, like you said, you're seeing these buildings all of a sudden. Like they weren't part of your vision until you saw this and you said, wait a minute, look at that. How's that designed? And what is that for on top? And so we start to see all these antennas and these different weird things that are going on. And we always think about technology being in the future, but I think it's, you know, a lot in our past, and we're just going to be uncovering all of that stuff. So pretty interesting there, and I thought that was a fun one to start off with future technology and Sarah Jacera, you know, possibly coming here and, you know, bringing technologies and all these patents that have been hidden from us. You know, so I think we've been living in the dark ages and the caveman basically ages with technology. They just give us just enough to keep us happy, and then they keep all the rest to themselves and maybe underground. So pretty interesting times. We'll see what happens in this next year or so coming up, and if we can have some of this for ourselves and have some free energy and have some fun with technology that we haven't had before. And peace and love sounds great. You know, they lived in a community of peace and love, which that's what we're looking forward to, and we're going to talk about very shortly. So let's talk about Kabbalah Guru. Gila, why don't you kind of intro him in and tell us how you met and all that kind of stuff?
Well, there was a divine redundancy that happened that day because Mel Carmine, who helped me recover from my XRP scam, he says to me, "You got to meet the Kabbalah Guru. He lives right near you." I said, "Who?" And then it happened to have been that morning he came up on my feed. I noticed his face for the first time that morning. And then I call it a divine redundancy when like the same thing happens twice in the same time period. And it's like God is like asking you to pay attention. So God was like, pay attention to the Kabbalah Guru. And then thereafter, Mel was like, I mean, all the time, did you meet the Guru? Did you meet the Guru? Because Mel loves him. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to call him. It was like right before Passover. It was like our busiest time of the year, right, Guru?
Yeah.
And I'm like, let me just pick up the phone and call him. And I remember that first phone call we had, I saw you and I was like, yeah, there he is. I know that guy. And I feel like we're having these memories like you were talking about, Jarin, like these, you know, we're having these flashbacks to, I don't even know when, but like we all know each other from somewhere, that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Like family. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like the family of light, right? We're coming together on Earth as like an Avengers team. and coming together and putting these videos together and putting our minds together and opening hearts all around the world to new and amazing adventures. So, Kabbalah Guru, how do you know Mel Carmine, and how did this all come about, and how are you now on YouTube doing these videos?
Right. So, I mean, this all really starts, and yeah, this is I'm gonna bring this into the point that I wanted to make about the internet, how important it is. But we, you know, I started making videos. I was a public school teacher, and I started making videos for my special needs kids when I went remote. And my admin said, you know, what are you doing? This is too long, you know, stick to the lesson plan. I mean, the stuff they always tell me. And I was like, you know, this is beautiful stuff. These are beautiful children. And they want to see, you know, I was showing them my peach tree in my front yard. But I realized that I like making videos, but I don't like making videos for them. And I asked my son, who's more technically competent, and he helped me, you know, arrange some things. And I've just been doing it ever since for a couple of years now. And I love it. But the thing that I want to say is that Gila and I put together a thought, which we verified with Ishmael. My pronunciation is great, but anyway, we ran it by Ishmael. The idea that this final war, before the coming of the Messiah, before the Great Awakening, before, you know, the times of prosperity in Nasara and Jasara, that the final war, according to Torah, is Gog and Magog. So Gila and I put together that Gog and Magog is Google and the metaverse, and that this is the final war. And this is why it's so important that you have this channel here and that we all come together. I mean, we're all star seeds. We don't know how we got here. I mean, Gila tells me stories about her childhood, how she just she says, I don't really, you know, it's like I don't really belong here. Like I talk about that cartoon with the elephant on the piano seat where he says, "What am I doing here? I'm a flutist." You know, I mean, it's like, but all of us. I mean, I know I grew up with that feeling like something is wrong with this picture. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's wrong. They're telling me one thing, but I feel another thing. And so yeah, so Mel reached out to me. I think because I'm Orthodox or Hasidic, that, you know, I'm not in the, like, I haven't really clicked with a lot of people, but Gila's helping me get out there a little bit. And it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. What we're doing now is the final war against Gog and Magog, and it seems like a little thing, but what we're doing, like even with the thing with Tartaria and just being aware of what's going on and helping the normies is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, when I watched your YouTube video, I didn't even know that you were associated with Gila. And I thought you were like some star. I'm like, wow, this guy is amazing. You just have such a great speaking, and probably from your practice, but very good speaking. You're very genuine. You're very paced, and what you were saying was very powerful. And I was like, wow, this is great. And then all of a sudden you said Gila's name, and I was like, what? Wait a minute, what? Like, he knows. Okay, let me figure this out, because I'd love to have him on the show. And
Greg,
yes,
we're the only two Jews talking about Sarah.
I'm sure. Yes, it must be.
We found each other. Me and Guru, we're the only vocal people speaking out against the this, you know. Mm-hmm. And we're like, when I heard one of his first videos, I'm in my kitchen going, yes, yes, everything he's saying. And I'm like, it's somebody with a yarmulke on his head. And I'm like, I feel a tremendous affinity for him. Yeah. And then, you know, and we speak almost every day now because we understand our backgrounds. We understand the communities that we're in right now that are not really, there's a lot of them that are getting it, but they're staying underground because of fear of, you guys know, you're going to be ostracized if you talk about this stuff in our community.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. So what gives you that bravery to speak out? Even both of you, like what is happening inside of you that's saying, I can't hold it back. I got to say it.
I think for me, like I was saying before about that we were just born this way. We were just born knowing we had a mission here. Not a, you know, the regular life here does not make sense to us. We come from, you know, we come from the future, I think. And we just knew that, you know, this has to be said. You know, in my synagogue, let's say, I'm, you know, I'm on the low end of the totem pole. I didn't get religious till like 25 years ago, and my Hebrew's not so great. You know, I'm kind of like an outlier. I mean, they've taken me in. They've been very kind to me. But on Shabbos, I finally spoke out, and you know, we have these things called Farbrengens where we kind of get together, have a little bit of vodka, you know, sing some songs and talk heart to heart. And I said, you know, I'm not even a rabbi. I said, and you know, and it seems to me that the final war, the war of Gog and Magog, is taking place on the internet. I said, why don't some of you guys get on, you know, get on YouTube as well? It would really be, and I really believe that, you know, in my community, in the Kabbalah Guru family community, we encourage, you know, everybody to step up to the plate and start their own channels. And we need every piece of the puzzle. And Gila is just like, I feel like Gila is my Siamese twin. It's like whatever I forget to say during a video, she fills in her
She'll follow
videos.
it up.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And really God isn't, you know, it's godliness. We're channeling some kind of something. And you know, we're doing our part, man. We're just doing what we really came here to do.
Yeah, and you know that internally, your inner standing, your intuition's telling you this has to happen. And I think that it's an aching feeling inside. If you don't tell the truth, you feel like you're corrupting your insides right now in this vibrational frequency we're in. And Gila, how are you so brave? What's going on with you? I mean, is it do you get like family support and everything, or is it tough?
First of all, before I answer that question, I just want to say thank you to the guru, because when him and Mel were like, start a channel, and I was so reluctant to do that because I'm not like a public person and I don't like public speaking. But because they were so encouraging, I started, and every day Guru says on his videos, did you watch Gila? Did you watch Gila? So my subscribers, like, they're all like, he shared with me, and I wouldn't have the start that I had. I like was out the gate pretty quickly because of Guru and because of Mel. So I just want to say thank you, Guru, for that. And then you guys got in touch with me, and I feel like God is just aligning all of us and helping promote each other. But Guru started long before me, and Guru, I appreciate all you do for me. I just want to say that, and you guys too. As far as what gave me my bravery, I have no idea. I just know that I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
I did not have a choice. And my mother, I'll never forget, my parents were mad at me. They're like, what are you doing? I was writing articles for 9 months for my local Jewish newspaper about, anti this and, then anti this. And then my parents were scared because I have a dental practice in my neighborhood. I'm like a neighborhood dentist. And they're like, you're going to lose your whole practice. What are you doing? And I said to my mother, I said, I have no choice. I said, this is something I am willing to die for. And as the words came out of my mouth, I couldn't believe they were coming out of my mouth. And then I understood that, I heard Dr. Zelenko of blessed memory say, this is a hill to, I forget how he said it, but this is a hill to die on. It's that important for humanity. And as the 2 years went on, I understood that we are in the end times battle. And this is, the fight for humanity. So in hindsight, I understand why I couldn't stay quiet.
Yeah, and it's a spiritual war. Go ahead, Jarin.
Yeah, when we look at the texts of the modern I Ching through the cosmic gene keys and the cosmic human design system that we talk about often on this show, the Kabbalah is a major part to that. In fact, it's one of the 3 most important parts, just as a side note. But what it all speaks to is that those that are at this place in time where they're rising with the flow, where we are increasing our vibration and we're doing the inner work to wish this new earth into existence and to wish ourselves to be stripped of limitations and to be who we really are. What's driving it is our purpose. It's the hidden purpose stored in our DNA. And so, of course, it's going to be propelling us into almost feeling like we have to do it. because it's true. Those of us that are here signed up doing what we're doing do have to do it. You know, our life's work, what we came here to do, and our evolutionary gifts, those two specifically, these gifts that we're going to evolve and bring out, and what we're going to do in the external world to build the new earth, is what's driving our entire system. All 64 archetypes in the body, everything is driven around the purpose. Other things fit in, of course. There's the holistic approach to life, but really for true star seeds that are really doing what we're doing, we are feeling the urge, and we have really nothing else matters as much as evolving, as helping humanity evolve, and of bringing out our creative talents and skills in what we came to do in this world. And thankfully, the more that we go with that, we have courage and faith to allow that and to continue to be that and to grow ourselves. The universe has our back now. More than ever before, the energies are actually supporting the uniqueness of who we are and the way in which we do it on an individual level, aside from just the collective rising. So don't be afraid, jump in, make mistakes, then learn from them, grow even stronger, have the courage to express yourselves, know when you need a break. All these things are part of the puzzle, but the universe has your back now to live a life you could never imagine. And many of us still cannot even imagine what we're going to be living and how amazing and great it's going to be. But the key to that is to being ourselves, following something greater than us, and moving towards the natural evolutionary impulse that we have, which means stepping into the unknown, stepping into uncertainty, yet within yourself being confident that you are capable and worthy, and that humanity and life itself is worth the growth, the work, and what you have to bring.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, there's been a lot that have, as we have said, a lot of things have been hidden from us, and a lot of things have been warped or flipped upside down, right? And a lot of times they say that the God that's been ruling us is Baal, B-O-L, or B-A-L, whatever it is. And so it's flipped. It flips everything upside down to make that seem like it's the right answer. So we are now starting to rotate that back, and we're starting to see all this stuff being uncovered. We're starting to see ourselves start to like just blossom like a flower, right? We're starting to bloom, and these star seeds that are on the planet right now are just amazingly blooming with such confidence and such light and seeing and vision. The third eye is open. Everything's starting to flow very well in us, and we're starting to find each other. And that's the greatest thing, is just this collection of people coming together, and sometimes from the strangest places, right? From financially, right? The Emily and the QSI and all that, and then the Mel Carmine with the XRP. I never would have thought that that's where it would all start to gather together and start to blossom. But hey, that's where it comes from. And we've talked about, Gila, you've talked about money being the root of Earth and all that kind of stuff. So this is kind of where it's coming from, the roots, and it's rising up through the chakra system, and we're starting to really blossom and become together. And I'm loving to see this, and I'm loving that we're having this feeling of, yes, the momentum is pushing forward. There is nothing that's going to stop it. And you know, as much as the dark has been trying their hardest, it just, every time they turn around, a digital warrior or something has just taken that right out. Nope, doesn't work. That's not true. And so it's just amazing. So one of the things I want to show you is the Georgia Guidestones. So right here, I saw this. It says the Georgia Guidestones were exactly 666 miles from the UN headquarters in New York. This is not a coincidence. It's so, I don't know how people figure this stuff out or find it, but I think that there is a source that's pushing this information out slowly, right? There's a lot of information for years that has slowly crept into our vision. And as you see it year after year, you start going, man, why am I keep on seeing this, right? And so this kind of stuff now is coming out quickly, and we're starting to see that mathematics on both sides, good and evil is used all over the place. Are you guys seeing a lot of this mathematical stuff, Kabbalah Guru?
Yeah, I mean, I'm Jewish, so our letters also have numbers. So our sages have been using what's called gematria for years, and so it's interesting. I mean, like for example, the word tov, the word good, is number 17. So I find that so interesting.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to get to awaken people in my community to this thought stream, but so far, Gila's my best buddy here.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's hard to find people, that are definitely awake enough where you can have good conversations with them. Some are getting there, but it's still very difficult. It's muddy water. I know with family and where I work, it's like it's impossible. You're not going to find much. You might hear something that's like interesting. You're like, oh, that person's talking about that, but you're not going to go too deep into it because you're just not going to get anywhere with them. The other thing I wanted to show you here was they keep on talking about overpopulation, and of course we know this is another hoax. But this says the UN says, UN again, right, that the Earth's population will soon reach 8 billion people. Here's what 8 billion people standing 3 feet apart in a grid would look like right here. This little dot right here in probably California. That's it. So the entire Earth, 8 billion people standing there. So no, we're not overpopulated, everybody. But these are the type of things they throw our way. And what it does is it messes with our minds. And then it messes with our spirit. And it throws everything off. And they're kind of a genius in a lot of ways, the way they can manipulate and stuff. So how do we, just in a regular day, as even starseeds, but just general public people who are awakening and all that type of stuff, how do we continue to walk down the right path with all of this misinformation everywhere? 360, we're getting it. How do we keep on walking that path the right way? Jarin, why don't we start with you? What's going on here?
Well, I always going to go back to where is your attention? And the attention is often too much on the external and the past. So when we get into forms of prayer or forms of meditation inside of yourself, so it's touching into the real you, like you said, Greg, you mentioned how the information can mess with our mind and then mess with our spirit. Well, that's what David Icke talks about, right? Information can control perception, which controls behavior. So going to the source of you, you are the spirit. You do not have you are not the mind. You are not the body. You are not the emotions, nor your life outside of you. It's a suit and it's an experience. And you have the control panel inside of you to make adjustments. So tune into the source inside of you. And then from that place, you're able to tap into your intuition. You're able to tap into discernment, what's real, what's not real to you. You're able to feel what your dreams truly are, and you're able to put your attention on them and magnetize them. And it is law where you put your attention and intention. If you feel it, it is a law that it will bring you to it. So you have the ability to live whatever life you want to live, aside from the whole even ascension story. Aside from all the stories. Whether you want to be in the mix and be in front of millions of people talking like we do, or whether you want to go, raise a garden and be in nature and not have anything to do with humanity, it doesn't make a difference. You have the choice. But are you living your destiny, your choice, on your path? Or are you overly programmed through the external in whatever it may be that's limiting you from you being the real you? So to me, the most important thing is to spend time inside of ourselves, feel where we wish to go, and have the courage and the faith to walk in that path and honestly not even care what's going on with people's opinions and with ideas and all these mental constructs of right and wrong. It's all a game, and that's really what it's about. I think for all of us, one of the greatest superhero gifts that we're all arriving to is the willingness to, if anything, it's you and your faith that matters the most. There's opinions everywhere, all outside of you. There's ways of domesticated life that you're supposed to live by, all those kinds of things. If you have you in your faith and you're congruent with that, that's all that matters. And gradually, I want to say, gradually we'll rise to a place where it doesn't matter whether someone looks at you as a hero, which I've seen, and whether people look at you as a villain, which I've seen. You start to see it all as it's all okay. It's all neutral. I don't let it sway me one way or the other to build an ego or in a good or a bad way. It's just what it is, and take life less serious, right, Gila? We talked about that a few days ago. Live in delight. There you go. Just highlight that a little bit more. But I think it's the inner power. It's not the external. It's the inner self. That's the real need for everybody right now, and that's our real superpower.
Yeah, and Gila, I see you center yourself a lot. Close your eyes, you breathe, you center. Is that how you continue down the right way? Are you listening to your intuition, your inside?
Yeah, that's my best way to take in information. I have to like block out the visual and hear the words inside the space in my head. It's just my process. And I want to say I just started working with Jarin on Fridays. He's teaching me my gene keys, my human design. I can't even say enough how it's opening worlds for me. He's explaining myself to me, my design. We're all designed by the creator so differently. And he's such an expert. Jarin, you're such an expert. And you just have it on your fingertips and you just say it over. And it's the biggest gift you can give a human being is that they understand their own soul and the blueprint of their own soul and why they came. And, you know, the life purpose and the evolution is like, it's so much more than I thought it was going to be. Sitting with you for that 1 hour on Friday mornings is, I like recommend it for everybody. I don't think you'll have enough time in your entire life to, you know, you're going to have to figure this out, how you're going to help everybody. But I'm so honored that I got you at this early time in the evolution of the planet, that I get one-on-one time with you. I'm going to look back on that and really feel fortunate, because this human design, this newer type of human design that includes the 13th zodiac, is it resonates with me, because on the lunar calendar, our religion goes by that lunar calendar. So I really feel aligned with you in that. So, and I want to say one more thing that I think Jarin was saying about information, how when the external information comes in, that's how, you know, we get off track, when we're not following the compass of our soul. And that's what Guru discovered, that Google, who's the number one information source in the world? Like, you talk to people in Israel and they say Google, you know, they say it in their accent. Google, everybody knows Google. So Google is the enemy, because if you look about it, if you look at Google, they're always pushing the information on the this. They're the ones that and when you do a search on Google, you're not getting right information, right, Greg? You're just not. No. So that makes sense that this, and then when he explained that this is the enemy, the AI is the enemy above the Cabal. That's the Cabal is just a puppet of the AI in the galactic realms, and they're using Google to do the psyop, to perpetrate the psyop. It's Google.
Yeah, the manipulation of us through AI is amazing, and once
to figure that out.
Once they gave us these phones to walk around with, and technology can be used in two different ways, right? We can use it for amazing awakenings, or we can use it to go deeper into brainwashing. And for sure, when you talk to people on a general basis and you ask them a question that they don't know, they're going to Google it, right? It's all programmed in. And what comes up first on Google searches, right, is the things they want you to know and see. It may take you 3 pages to find something that you knew was there, but it took 3 pages to find it, when you can go to a different search engine, and that's like number 1 or number 2 that comes up. So it's pretty interesting how we're so layered in this brainwashing technique they're using. Back in the day with the CIA and all these type of 3-letter organizations, they had other ways of doing it, but it was so much harder on them to keep making sure you're going down the right path here, and breaking up families and breaking up morals and and all this stuff. But when the internet came along and they were able to give you a phone in your hand and say, oh, children with phones in their hand too, and they can really put a lot of that brainwashing pressure on them. And it's that daily reminder, the repeating over and over and over, that it just programs in, and it's so hard to get away from. Kabbalah Guru, how do we continue down the right path, not get brainwashed, continue to push this narrative forward, and continue to wake up all these people out there?
Okay, so I mean, just to go back to a previous point, I just want to say that what the first commandment in the Old Testament is, be fruitful and multiply. And, that doesn't just mean having kids, it means being a productive human being. But I would say that really, and I think all, religious traditions, all mystic traditions agree that the source of uncomfortable feelings comes from the intellect. And if they can get into your mind, and that's, if they can get into, I mean, intellect may not be the right word. In Kabbalah, we have many different words that describe thought, but in English, we may not have that. So, I describe it as, I always describe in all my videos, there's a scene in the Old Testament where the Jews are standing against the Sea of Reeds, their backs are to the sea, and the Egyptian army is coming in, and they know it's a powerful army, and they're all arguing amongst themselves. And this is the intellect, and this is where they want to get us. They want to get us thinking, who's really the president? Who's really doing this? When is this going to happen? When? All these kinds of thoughts, I call it the tree of knowledge, where good and evil, they say, got mixed together in the Garden of Eden when the reptiles did a number on our DNA and injected a certain sort of off-putting pillar into our temple. I mean, they put in this evil inclination, so to speak. But to get out of that space, so all these people are arguing and all this thing, when they get you into anger and fear, it's over. So what we want to do is really take this tree of knowledge and use it to explore the tree of life, which means you get into a consciousness where you're not worried, you're not fearful, and then you can connect with godliness. And that's what this whole thing is about, is that we're moving from an ego-based society to a godly society where we're just going to be doing nice things for each other all the time. It's going to be amazing. It already is. I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm working now. I make like a couple of videos a day. I mean, it's just my job, really, because I don't have a job. But in my old job, I was frightened all day long. I never knew what they wanted from me. They never could express it. They always found fault with me, and it was like I was scared all day. They were going to come to my room and find me, God forbid, teaching kids, or something like outlandish like that. So, to get into the space where you're not scared or angry or worried, and you can just vibe out, man, then you start getting the real thoughts. You start getting real, they're calling it downloads. I mean, we're even developing our own language now based on what we see with this 3D and 5D, and everyone's saying, I got a download. I'm thinking, what are they talking about? They're talking about they got a godly inspiration. I mean, we call it chokmah in Kabbalah. We call it like, the flash of light in the darkness. But to have in our culture, people saying, I got a download, meaning I just talked to God, that's huge. So we're all, whether we know it or not, that's what I think I got the message from Ishmael, was that it's happening, man. I mean, our DNA strands are going to get connected. It's all in movement. It's all good. We're just cleaning up the debris from, I mean, these guys are really, in order, like the plan that the White Hats pulled off here in showing everyone what was going on, not just telling them, because you can't, telling them or seeing, seeing is one thing, but hearing and understanding is believing. You have to, understand it to believe it. What I forget, it was seeing is believing, and believing is seeing, really. So we're really going from the space of we're trying to understand all these pieces without using our emotions, without getting all balled up about it. Just say, wow, man, the CIA runs Google. That's interesting. What does that mean? Hey, and, at the end of the day, man, I think we're all moving forward. And I mean, Gila and I are finding places where Christianity and Judaism were set up, we believe, infiltrated by the cabal in order to have continual opposition. It's maddening, and there's really no we're on the same page. You call it potato, I call it potato, whatever, but it's like we're talking about the same thing. We're talking about human enlightenment. We're talking about really experiencing God. And our sages, my Rebbe said, in the future, you won't need rabbis, you won't need books, you will be talking to God. And that's, we can all, we're all getting downloads now. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah, that was great stuff there. And yeah, it really is amazing where we're headed here. And when you talk about downloading, right? And I feel that myself when I'm inspired, it just downloads in, right? And you just put it on paper, or you put it into a computer, or you put it into your phone, whatever it is, or you put an inspirational message to somebody that you've been meaning to, right? It's that feeling of I'm getting a message right now, and it's time for me to bring it through my being and out to an expression, out to a creation. And that's, I think, where we're headed. I think we're headed to a creative planet where everybody's going to express their creation. And that's going to be the most important part. Money's not going to be important anymore. It's going to be creation and love and being one with your brothers and sisters. And that's a whole different place than we've been. And some people will laugh at you when you say that. They're like, there's no way humanity will get along. They haven't forever. They're always at war. It'll never stop. But you look at the little era of Donald Trump when he was in, and he brought peace to the Middle East and this place and that place. He was going around showing you how Nasera Jacera can work. He was giving you an example, and it was working. And then, of course, we brought in the new regime, and they went back to problems everywhere. And we went, okay, look, it went from peace to problems. Do you see how that happened? We can do that again. We can bring it back to peace. So I think a lot of that was showing the public what can happen. And so that was very interesting. Whoever is in charge of all of this big plan, they're showing people how to awaken. And it's very interesting to me how that's all going. So in your final minutes here, we're talking about Nasera Jacera. I know you talked about it a little bit on your videos. Give me a little bit of your confidence level of where's that? Is that coming? Or is it already here? How do we go about it? How do we look at it? Go ahead, Kabbalah Guru.
Yes. So I mean, I'm looking at things from this morning. And by the way, I didn't finish. I forgot to finish my story about that. There was one guy named Nakshan, and he just kept walking in the water while all these people were having debates about what should we do? What do we do? What do we do? He just kept walking, and that's when the sea split. But in terms of Nasara Jacera also, I mean, a lot of people that communicate with me are saying, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And, we liken this to like little kids in the backseat of the car. It's like, Mommy, you said we were going to be there already and we're not there. So I saw something this morning. I mean, the information seems to roll out in waves from the White Hats, but they were talking about 1871, the date 1871, which is kind of backwards 17, whatever. But the idea that that's when the corporation of the United States started, and that's when all this nonsense began. And most people have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm sure you'll have to do your own research. But they said in the comm this morning, they said from 1871 to 2020. Okay, they didn't say 2023. They didn't say 2022. So I believe that these things are happening. We just, we're seeing little reveals, And the final moments of this orchestrated movie have to play out to wake up as many people as possible. We don't want to see people going into shock when the Black Swan event comes out and the emergency broadcasting system comes out. But I believe, I mean, it seems to me like on an individual basis. Like, for example, I lost my job, and somebody on the legal team of one of the lawsuits I'm in said, call the bank. So I called the bank. I said, I can't pay my mortgage. I lost my job. So they said, fine. And then they called me a couple of months later and they said, can you pay your mortgage now? And I said, no. They said, okay, so we'll give you a few more months. And I just, they just reached out to me again. And they said, okay, you take another 6 months. I'm like, fine, man, kumbaya. It's like, it's happening. You just have to you really have to open your eyes. That's, our Rebbe said, the Messiah is here. You just have to open your eyes. And that's where you have to do your own research. You can't rely on the experts, obviously, on CNN and Fox News. They're not going to tell you the truth. They have an agenda, and their agenda is not, to help you become the person you are meant to be, which is what it's really all about. We're coming into, be fruitful and multiply means, projects, creativity, companionship, understanding new relationships, new patterns of relationships. They stuck us into all these things about males and females having to be in this certain kind of box together. And it's like, it really, do we need this? I mean, can't we just be friends? I mean, is it, so there's a lot we're discovering now as a species, really. And I think we're getting tremendous help from galactic, forces. I mean, people freak out when I say that, but it's like, sooner or later, you're going to find out. I mean, we just have more information. We've been researching this for a little longer, but it's happening. And, Nasara Jasara, all the patents coming out. I mean, you can just, if you really think about the way things have been going in the last 2 years and the way things have been going since, let's say, for your whole life, or 1871, if you want to go back far enough. If you see the pattern, the wars, the continual wars, the oppression, the debt slavery, and then you see this lantern, I'm saying not in the distance, this lantern that's right in front of us called Nasara Jasara, which says no more debt. They're going to have to do it because they're in more debt than we are. So it has to happen. No more debt. All the patents for all the cures are going to come out. Free energy, free Tesla energy. It's a new world. And once we get out of the intellectual space where it's not the intellectual space. It's the intellectual space that is hooked into fear and anger that takes us out of our godly connection. So I just, I believe it's here. I mean, I don't freak about it. People in my family are like, you got all this pile of mail over there and there's these certified letters. And I'm just like, so once in a while I'll open one and I'm like, okay, I can deal with this, and I make a phone call or two, and, it's going to happen. For me, it's already happened. I'm already there. So, but I really appreciate, spending time with you guys. It was really enjoyable, and it's always good to see Gila, of course, and hopefully we can develop more as a community, and we'll see each other more, and we can work together to bring this incredible new age into, and be fruitful and multiply together as a collective.
Absolutely. We appreciate you being here. We love meeting you, and we definitely want to do something again with you. When people want to find you, where do they find you? Where do they go?
I think it's Kabbalah Guru. I think it's KABBALAH, K Kabbalah GURU on either Rumble or YouTube. I also have a couple Telegram channels. So if you look hard enough, they don't make it easy, but we have a beautiful family. I mean, I call it the Kabbalah Guru family, but you guys are certainly a part of it. Gila is like the queen of the family. So
that's great.
We're just it's kumbaya time, man. We're moving forward, and whether you're Jewish, you're Christian, you're Muslim, you're Zen Buddhist, I don't care, man. I say hello to everyone on the street. I live in Brooklyn. The brothers know when I'm actually yesterday I had an interesting incident because I hang out with the brothers, man. I love to joke around with them. And so I saw a white person on the other side of the street. He came running over. He's like, "Well, what happened? Are you getting in a fight?" I'm like, "No." And they laughed. We put our arms around each other. We said, "No, we've been living together for decades, really, and everybody's on the same page, man. We're all waking up together. This is the new age. It's in all the prophecies. It's biblical."
Excellent. And Mel just came in and said, Mel and Amber from Costa Rica say, "You absolutely rock," and they love you. So, all right. Well, we'll let you go. We appreciate your time, and you're going to go on live and do your own show. I do have a link in the description for your YouTube channel, so people can click on that and find you. So, all right. Very good. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Greg. God bless everybody and love. Bye, Gila.
All right. All right. As he exits, I'm just going to edit in real quick because it'll be. Can you exit yourself there, Goober?
Yeah, sure. Let's see if I can figure this out. Okay.
So.
God bless everyone.
Yes,
have
absolutely.
a great day. It's happening, man.
All right. Excellent. Now let me edit you guys in. Of course, you're going to be all over the place. Bear with us for a second. But that was an excellent interview there.
Greg, if I could, while you're doing that, I'm going to go off a little bit of what we heard earlier. I love the aspect of him talking about the intellect and the ego versus the true self and the feeling and the understanding, as we say, and then how you took it to inspiration. That is the word. What we want to have is divine inspiration. When we say divine inspiration, when we say divinely led, we are allowing fresh, new feelings and thought to come in. When we are not in the moment of the fresh energy and the fresh thoughts, we are in our mind in its negative sense of being in the karma. Karma, he was saying, searching for words in English. Well, in Hindu, karma is action, which means every action is followed by an equal and opposite reaction. And as we do it consistently, it builds up our program in our mind, which all that does is limit us more and more and more. And when we utilize it, when we think from the point of trying to think, we are only living in the past, and we are only living in limitation, and then we are only living in the matrix itself. The way out is to be present, to be in the feeling state, to be in your inspiration. I think that's like the most powerful word there is. And then that allows the downloads, which is, you could say, am I downloading from higher intelligence, and or am I also just accessing higher aspects of myself, my brain, that is not just the thinking, rational, dualistic, based on the past mind. It comes from the higher heart and the pineal gland, which is fresh and new. And that's what we're working towards getting back to, is even within all the work and even within all the stories. And as you cross the 4D, which is what we've been progressing through, there's a lot of mental thought. It's very quick. 4D has to do with the mind and mental. But as we're doing that, we need pauses to get out, strip it all away, get into your purpose, get into what thrills you, get into what you love. Because when you do that, the divine inspiration comes back in. What really matters come back in. The freedom comes back in. And we're going to reach a point real soon where many of us are going to have kind of traversed that 4D aspect, where we had to learn a lot of new things and think a lot and get back to living, get back to comfortable living, body living, and not having to think so much. And that's what the 5D will bring us. But right now, if you're thinking, and you find yourself doing it for like 2 or 3, 4 or 5 minutes in a row, you're just draining your energy, and you're not going to figure it out, because the evolution has pushed us into saying, hey, no more. I can't do that. It's not even worth it. It doesn't, what's in front of me right now. And then when you do it, boom, fresh inspiration comes back in, and you're detached from the matrix. So be inspired.
Yeah, very good point. And, Gila, when we talk about becoming inspired and really forcing your creativity out, you're doing that through your channel right now. We're going to get to a couple of clips in a little bit after Jarin's manifestation moment. But how are you feeling, like getting on there and expressing and being an interviewer? How's that feeling to you?
It feels like my soul's purpose. It feels, exciting, fresh, like Jarin is just like he's describing. Like I'm in the moment, and my soul is guiding me through my emotions. Does this excite me, or does this excite me? And I follow where the excitement is, and I follow where the resonance is. And that's why I had sent you that interview on Friday, because that man Andrew Hobbs, the poet, when I read his poetry, I was like, I felt a heart resonance with him. So then I'm like, okay, let me take the next inspired action, which is to reach out to him and see if he'll interview with me. So living like this, like Jarin is describing, it actually opens up such exciting doors. Like here I am talking to you guys, and it's just through following that God-led path, that emotion, the information coming in as emotion from God. That's how God speaks to me through to all of us, I think, right, Jarin? Through this emotional field.
One of the ways, for sure.
One of the ways, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our emotional body, it's been very tampered with, right? And it's under constant pressure. And being a health and fitness person, I understand the nervous system and how the nervous system, when it's attacked all the time, all day long with stresses, these constant little irritating stresses of not enough money, I'm not enough for anybody. I don't look good enough. I got a pimple on my nose. Whatever is worrying us all day long, this constant pressure on the nervous system, it's destroying our emotional body. And that emotional body is like the ocean. And when we're connected to it and we're pure and fresh, that is an amazing flow of what human beings were meant to be. And so, when you're in that mindset of the good vibration and listening to your emotions, that is when you really start to unlock the secrets of you. And so that's where we need to be. And that's where, poetry, you're saying, that's a creativity that some people have, putting words on paper. And it's an amazing release and an amazing blueprint to the universe for some people, right? You read it and you said, oh man, that is amazing, and it inspired you to have them on the show, and it inspired you to have a great conversation that I enjoyed and that probably thousands of people enjoyed. So that's where it all comes from. That's the flow of this new earth, and that's where we're going here. So great stuff there.
I just want to throw in, I love that we're talking about emotional intelligence. And to me, going off of what Gila was saying, as we evolve, we're moving into where we're following our feelings versus our thinking. So there have been many different epics of what was the main source of our identity and our living. And we've traversed now the mental plane, where the mind is what led everything. And we're transitioning into the feeling state, where the feeling state is what's rising us. And that is what dictates our moves, our decisions, our experiences. And then through those experiences, we gain fresh wisdom. But it's a feeling state. Having said it, though, there are 3 awareness centers. The mental is one. The emotional body is the hierarchy. So absolutely, we want to connect with our emotional intelligence as well as our instincts. The third one in the cosmic design system is instinctual. So you have your mental, you have your emotional, and you have your instinctual. That instinctual, which Greg loves to use, that just knowing. You don't even have to think. It's just the knowing. You get the end result without having to think. People aren't used to that. Trusting that I know without knowing how. I know without knowing the math equation. It's like E equals MC squared is delivered to you without you figuring it out. See, then you get to process what the pieces mean. So we want to follow those instincts and get in touch with feelings that we're not quite used to. So,
yeah.
Well, Judaism is a very cerebral pursuit. We are the people of the book, right? But we say in our prayer 3 times a day, this prayer is said in the Aleinu prayer, where we bow down to God. We say, V'yadatam hayom, and you should know today, v'hashivoseh levavecha, and return it to your heart. So the information must be filtered through the heart. And in the Bible and in all of our prayers, God really never once asks for our minds. And like hundreds, if not thousands of times, he's asking for our hearts. So to me, that's always the invitation. The entranceway to the spirituality is through the heart, through the spiritual intelligence. We through the emotional intelligence. It's a doorway to the spiritual intelligence. That's how I see it.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And I really do believe that everything in the new earth as we head there is going to come through the heart. That is where we are lacking greatly in this society right now, because it's all up here all the time, and we are just burned out up here, and it's getting back into the body and out through the heart is where we're going to meet and greet the greatest people and become a family on earth here. All right, let's get to the manifestation moment with Jarin Kenyon. Here we go.
So for today's manifestation moment, I want to start with a quick little quote, since we've been talking about the mind so much today. When the mind finally stops believing that it's supposed to control you or other people in life's events, it can finally do what it's designed to do, which is to visualize and create the life you dream of. And so I want to give the mind now its props for its genius if we use it in the way that it's designed to be used. So if you think about that quote, your mind inherently, through fight or flight and other types of programs, is controlling you. When I say you, we're talking to the species as a whole. It thinks on its own. It thinks even when you don't want it to think. And, so the mind is there, but it doesn't need to control every single situation. It doesn't need to control other people. It doesn't need to control you. The spiritual work is to start to realize you don't need to do that anymore. I can stop this. I don't need to think. In fact, when we're living, we really shouldn't be hardly thinking at all. That's a truth. What is the mind actually here to do? You heard it say at the end, to visualize and create the life you dream of. So the mind sets the GPS to the coordinates of where you're going to go in life. If you come from the consciousness aspect of you, the true you, the spirit, the higher self, the being that is behind the suit. And if you think of the triangle, you got your mental, you got your emotional, and you got your physical bodies. It's part of your suit, but that's not really you. The you is deep within, that has the ability to adjust those settings. I call it like adjusting it, programming it, clicking the remote control, which is the body, mind, and emotions, that then changes the station in your world, which is the life you see in front of you. This illusion that is constantly changing in front of you is a result of that remote control and the faculties of your mental, physical, and emotional bodies. There's more, but largely that. So step into the what? Conceiver you. We've talked about it many times. The midbrain, the part of you that believes anything is possible, is in the pineal gland and in other areas of your midbrain that has the God creative principle in it that has created this universe through a vision. So your vision is your proper use of the mental faculties. And what you do with that, when we get into manifestation and all these practices, we are visioning from a fresh place what the dream is, what the goal is, what the desire is, where you'd like to go next. I make it so simple. It's like, again, GPS system. Someone invites you to a house. You don't know how to get there. You just plug it in the GPS and it takes you, right? It tells you where and you go. It's the same thing with manifestation. It's a place in space. You're wanting your experience to change. You're picking a place. And the more you put your attention on plugging those coordinates into the end result of that place, which is through defined intention, whether through words or sound or light, the image, the vision, and you stay there and you feel it, and you're giving emotion behind the thought in the sense of what is it that I wish to create and experience next. Let there be light, right? Then there was light. You're saying, let me have that blue new car. Let me have that new relationship. You could go on and on. You're feeling like you're already in it. That's the last part I want to say here. A lot of times we're blocked in manifestation because we can't get past the fourth dimension, because we automatically then look for a how and we look for time. We say there's got to be time, which is a mind construct. It's not real. And we say that there's got to be a how. Someone says, oh, I need to save up money, so that means I got to get a side job for 6 months. That's an example. You picked a how and you picked a time. And that's not how God and the universe really functions. If you can see beyond time and you just see the image, you just feel the feelings as if you're already living it, then you start to kick into hyperdrive. And then the universe will take you to the most ideal situation, the most easy, the most beneficial, the most quantum, in the sense that even other areas of your life will mirror it, will be benefited from it. Think of a tree and how it branches off. But you have to focus your attention through the vision and the feeling on what it is you wish to create in life. Okay? Know that you have that power. Then the last step is the knowing. Now, the knowing in an ego sense is trying to control the situation as it happens, figuring it out and doing it the way that you want it to happen. But the knowing in the real power is, I know I've created it. I've energized it. I know this is going to happen. Then letting go. Because lastly, what God do? Created the earth, created the heaven, and then rested. And when he rested, that's when the trees grow. It's like enjoying life comes in front of your eyes. That's the point of life. I've created something and now I get to enjoy watching as it transpires. So the art of allowing is knowing that it exists. It's already going to happen. I've already charged it. And now I'm just going to enjoy the ride. Now, that's when the cosmic human design and other things that we speak of in our steps come in that can help us jump time, save energy, avoid extra stress and conflicts. There are mechanics that are helpful while you're in the experience. But the most important part is the vertical part, is you just programming where you're going to go, knowing it inside of your own mind, in the whole body, transcending that 4D of limitation, stepping into the reality of now let's just watch it happen and let me enjoy the ride. And that's how you can start to fast track your dream life today, using the mind as a vision tool and not as a thinker.
Thank you, Mr. Kenyon. And during that, it was 11:11, and Victoria pointed that out on the chat board. And it was right during your climax, talking about the tree. So good for you. What perfect timing. Yeah, I like to think about the brain as a organ, and it's just a reflex organ. So if you're using that all the time, you're just reacting. It's just reflex. You have to use internal. You have to go internal. And that's where you start to really manifest and get the things that you really want. Otherwise, you're using your auto-programming brain. That's just going to reflex. Just like if you were to tap your knee. The doctor taps your knee and your leg goes up, right? That's your reflex. And that's what you're going to normally do when something comes up. And, you have all these thoughts running by you all day long, right through, right? And they say that it's good that you have two holes, two ears, because it can go in one and out the other, and you don't have to worry about it. But if one of those thoughts comes through and it catches an emotion, right? It's a past memory or it's some kind of trauma, and you go right back into the past, right into that reflex organ, and you react, right? And that's called a trigger. And a lot of times if you go to therapy or whatever, they're going to talk about triggers. And that is your trigger right there. And that's going to put you into past behaviors and take you away from the magic of life. So that's what we're trying to teach you here. It's just to be aware of that. Be aware of the brain, be aware of the mind, and the chatter, and the thoughts that are flowing through from God knows where. Everybody around you, who knows where all these thoughts come from. And just watch that emotional body catch one of those thoughts and try to pull you into the past, right? And it's just like one of those creatures that comes out of the gutter and grabs your leg and tries to pull you in. And that's where you're going with these thoughts. So be wary of all that. And yeah, that's why we're so big on this manifestation stuff. It's very, very powerful and important that you guys start learning this. Go ahead, Jarin.
Yeah, the thoughts waste our life energy. So we have so many, and they're just wasting energy. Think about it. If you just shut it off for 5 minutes and didn't think, your energy would start to rise without even doing anything. So the thoughts are using too much energy. However, you want powerful thoughts. So that's going on, staying in the vision. You know, there are some masters in the planets that can literally make things appear right in front of them. Most are not to that level, but there are many that know if I just go on in this thought that really is about magnetizing my creation and feeling like I have it, it's guaranteed to come. So that just stay in that thought until they get it there. It's just a matter of how much will that you have to do that. Do you have the willpower to shut everything else down and be in that powerful thought of magnetism, powerful thought of creation? And then when you're done with that and you're living and you're enjoying life with the senses, you're not hardly thinking at all. And like Greg said, you're letting it come and come out. Sometimes if an important thing comes in, like you write it down. Okay, I got it. I'll look at it later. You know, but less thoughts equals more energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Gila, did you have anything you wanted to follow up with?
No, that was just a great insight that I had, that our mind, the purpose of the mind is for imagination. It's for imagination, not for worry, not for regret, not for rumination, just for imagination. And I feel like we were taught that imagination is for little kids, but no, it's for us and for now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's going to go right into my Greg Schumacher experience. That was weird coincidence there. All right. So what I want to do is I know it's late, but I want to get our intros in, and then I'm going to have Gila's interview up, and we're going to talk about that. So it's going to be some really cool conversation here coming up. Jared, do you happen to have my intro on hand with you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So we're all set. All right, here we go. All right. Welcome to Rise, the next evolution, free speech, united, not divided, question everything, break the mold, pushing evolution, galactic conspiracy theorist empowerment show. I love all those words. Our goal is to reach the ultimate human potential in all areas, making a balanced and strong spiritual warrior, and to continue to wake up humanity to remembrance of who we truly are, the alien alphas of Earth. Since Victoria's not here, I'm not going to do her intro, but she's lovely, and we'll see her next week. Okay, Jarin Kenyon. I like to call him Tony Robbins. He is a manifesting generator in the cosmic human design system. He's a traveling motivational speaker, teacher of manifestation, and believes human design is the future internet of human beings. Think about that, guys. The future internet of human beings. Jarin studied from and pilgrims to India with Guru Dr. Pillai, becoming a life mastery coach, learning from several of the speakers from the book and movie The Secret, a great one, and has practiced for over 10 years, or probably 12 years now, with some of the world leaders in human design. He also holds strong wisdom in quantum physics and Nikola Tesla mathematics. His destiny is to inspire billions of people, billions of people, to believe in and achieve their dreams. And if you want to work with him one-on-one, Jarin Kenyon is available. Linktree/rise.tv. Look for Coach Jarin, and you can find his links. Go ahead, Jarin.
Thanks, Greg. And you can always just email me at jarin@jarinkenyon.com.
There you go.
That's the simple thing. Jarin@jarinkenyon.com. Send me an email. Have any questions, any insights, any interests. I am far less technologically advanced as Mr. Greg Schumacher. So he's got our stuff all set up in that link tree. Other than that, send me an email. Greg Schumacher, the projector in the cosmic human design system, is an author, media specialist, health advocate, expansion of consciousness course creator, including the Wim Hof breathing, quantum style. He's a truth seeker, speaker, and spiritual influencer. He believes we must walk through the uncomfortable truth to get to the core of our success channels, which is absolutely the truth when we look at our cosmic gene keys and design system. Walking through the uncomfortable truths to get to the core of your success. Absolutely. Greg's ultimate goal is to unite humanity through better choices in health and wellness, along with media like this that will enlighten the world on a worldwide scale to peace and prosperity. You can find Greg Schumacher on SchumacherIndustries.com and all the other millions of things that he's orchestrated that he could probably tell you about, to find all kinds of things to go on with Rise, as well as Greg as a coach, teacher, and producer for your content. Help build up your brand, build up your videos, build up your imagery, build up your logo. That's your guy.
There you go. Absolutely. And, you know, I always thought in my mind before I made all this, why not make spirituality fun, right? And why not make a show where it's fun to watch and it's got great graphics and all that stuff? I always thought that was lacking in the spiritual community. And so we came up with E3, didn't we, Jarin? Entertainment, education, and empowerment. So entertainment is one of those things in there. And I'd love to, you know, become a movie studio at some point and do that kind of stuff as well. Sorry, I was talking while I was editing here quickly. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, did you know that Gila was an author? The center of all things. So this is on Amazon, everybody. Go out and grab it. Amazing stuff, talking a lot about God, correct there, Gila?
Yes.
Yes, so that is going to be a nice read. You said that you put your heart and soul into this, and yet you hope that everybody who reads it can feel that coming out of the book. And so amazing stuff there. Also, what we have here is Cosmic Human Design Podcast. If you don't know about this, it's on every other Wednesday. Go to youtube.com/Cosmic Human Design, or you can go to our Rumble page that you're on probably right now watching, and you can scroll down and you can find some of those Cosmic Human Design podcasts. And they're awesome. We talk about all kinds of great things with the Yale graduate, Richard Mason. And we talk about the I Ching a lot, the gene keys. We go into a lot of really cool subjects. So really deep. It's a real deep podcast, and good stuff there. We also do every Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern as a co-creation. Everybody who watches co-creates with us, and we do this meditation and prayer event where we try to co-create the new earth coming. So we're putting momentum behind that, and we're going to talk about a little bit about that with Gila coming up, about how many people we really need on this earth to really push this light forward and be an amazing place. It's not as many as you think. A lot of great stuff with the light. Next week, we have Ishmael. Gila, you had him on your podcast, Starseed here. Any little insight? What should we be prepared for with Ishmael?
Oh, he makes it so easy. You could ask any galactic information that you have ever been curious about, and he's a historian. He's a cosmic historian. He has it at his fingertips, and he's just somebody who's done that deep internal work. So you can feel the peace coming off of him, and it's just you'll have the best time with him.
All right. Sounds great. So that's next week on Rise. And then Emily and Annie do the Money Mastery. That's every Thursday. So check that out on QSI, the Quantum Stellar Initiative on Telegram. If you got Telegram, you got to be part of that. That's an amazing group there. And they teach all kinds of stuff, all kinds of information that's absolutely free. So we love that. That's amazing that they can give away all that information for free. So great people over there. We've had Emily on many times. We had Annie on for an episode, and great people. So, all right, Jarin, anything else besides everybody should like and subscribe or follow our Rumble? So if you're watching right now, just hit the like button, please, or the plus button. And that way we definitely get some more algorithms going. And, Rumble's a little bit smaller of a platform, but we love it. And the video and audio quality are perfection. They're amazing. So everybody kind of brags about how good Rumble is and how good we look on Rumble. So it's a great platform. I'm very happy with it. I'm glad we're off of YouTube. And we continue to get hammered with censorship from YouTube, even though we're not even on there anymore. They keep sending me emails in the middle of the night. Hey, we got you on this video from back in April 2021. Terrible information you got put out there. It's just, oh my God. So they're just still looking around. Their bots are still working hard at night and trying to get us on everything. It's craziness. So if you do want to go to our link tree, it's Linktree. So linktr.ee/rise.tv. And you can also find Gila's book on there at the bottom. So just scroll down and you can click right on the link to go right there. You can find Mel Carmine. You can find Emily. You can find Jarin's coaching, my coaching. You can find Cosmic Human Design. So it's got everything there. So go there for almost everything. And you can just click on everything and subscribe and like everybody on there. And that's where you'll start to be part of our family of light and all that kind of stuff. So great stuff there. Now, I believe I couldn't load your videos on my notes app, so I got to pull them off of here. So we're going to take a look at Gila interviewing here. Let me just find them quickly. There they are. Okay. So the one I want to do first is let's talk about the 9,000 people. I thought this was a really cool one here. And you interviewed Andrew, what was his name here, Andrew?
Hobbs, Hobbs.
Okay, and he is a divine poet, and he was really insightful, and I love he has an English accent, so everything just sounds better, more juicy. It's amazing how they just can make words. True. It's just so much fun listening to them talk. It's like listening to music almost, the way they speak and talk and express themselves. So I really enjoyed it. But let's bring that on over here. And this one right here.
I'm so close to it, yet I'm so far away from it. Help me. And then I went to bed that night, and in the morning I woke up and I heard, "Hey, you."
Because you asked for help. Help me.
The key words, Gila. Help me.
Help me. Yeah. I've done it too. I have done it too. I say, I know this is wrong in me. I know that I get this way, or I still get angry, or I still get defensive. I'm like, I don't know how to fix this, God. Help me. And just those two words. Help me. Because I don't know even the help that I need. I can't even name the help that I need sometimes.
Exactly. And you don't necessarily even need to ask them. You can command them. You can command them. They're not offended by a command.
Right. Help me now. Help me right now.
You can scream it from the mountaintops. Help me.
Yeah.
And they will.
And they will. They're just waiting for it.
They are waiting for you to reach out to them.
That's their free will. That's where their free will has to remain. That's the prime. What's that called? Prime directive. It's on this planet. We have to have our free will left intact. And I think that's how the rules of the game is that they can't interfere until we ask them and invite them. Does that sound? That sounds right.
That's how I've heard it. We have finished.
All right. I probably clicked on the wrong one there, but that's okay. So command it. I love this, right? This is one of them I picked out of it. And my projector self was like, whoa, that's powerful information right there. And we've talked a little bit about this free will, right? We have free will on this planet. And we continue to think something's going to help us without asking for it. And, he's even going to the point where saying, command it to happen. And I wonder, you think about the gurus on the planet that spent time, Jesus and Buddha and all them. You wonder if they understood what command it meant, bring it to you. And I actually started to do this in the car after I was listening to it. I was commanding things to happen. And it was really a powerful feeling, and I felt it, in the heart chakra. So pretty interesting stuff there. I know it's hard to see yourself on the screen, so I appreciate you being a good sport. It's always fun to like go, oh my gosh, that's what I look like, and that's what I sound like. So,
Exactly.
but that is an amazing, powerful thing there you guys talked about. I'm gonna go to Jarin first. Jarin, what's your thoughts on the command it to happen?
Oh, okay. Well, let's go there first. I love this. So, to help you with creation first, right? We've talked about clear, concise creation. When you're creating, you want clear, concise, big one, concise creation. C3. Next level goes with this. I call this like vitamin D3. Here's your D3, right? D3, when I'm creating and I'm in my creative principle of intention, moving from desire, which isn't negative. When you say, people out there have an issue with the word desire, that means you're desiring no desire. There's always an urge and your free will has it. So first step is desire. What's better than that, or an upgrade in the vibrational frequency? Declare. Okay? Desire, declare. But what's even higher than that, when you reach the point, the force inside of yourself, is demand. So moving from desire to declaring to demanding. But it's a power versus force thing. It's an internal demanding of the result. It's not an ego demanding of what you want to manipulate in the outside. So you have to be careful with that. But honestly, the I ams, the I haves, the demanding, the commanding, there is like, I love that he said that they're not going to take it personally, or they're not going to take, they're like, okay, what they is could be beings, and it could be elementals, and it could be a billion infinite things inevitably, which is anything in the universe that aligns is going to respond to your vibrational intent. And so the stronger you are in your intent, the quicker and the more clear it will manifest. Absolutely, because it goes back to the beginning. When God said, let there be light, he commanded it. And we all have that creative principle inside of us.
Yeah, Gila. This interview was very powerful. And how did you get to like this point where you're just like charging this energy forward with this guy and coming up with this command it to happen and like all of this great stuff? I mean, it's just so powerful. Where'd this come from?
Well, I think the process of writing my book primed me for this time in my life. It took me, I think, over 10 to 12 years to formulate my book and get it on paper. And even the concept we're talking about now is in my book. My good friend Eileen said to me, your book is a manual. It's like a spiritual intelligence manual. I cover so many different topics, from raising kids to prayer to repentance, a lot of different topics. Each chapter is a different topic in my spiritual evolution. And this is a big one that I talk about, that God showed us how to be creators of our own universe in the beginning in Genesis, when he created his universe. And he did command it. And he did say, let there be light. Look at that wording, let there be light. The allowing, the gentle command, but it's still a demand. And in my book, there's a quote that I think it was the Kutzker Rebbe, who's a holy Jewish rabbi, said, be brief and be concise even when you pray. And we learned this from Moses, that when his sister fell ill, Miriam was sick, because he had such an intimate space with God, his prayer was 5 words. Elna Rafana La. Please, God, please heal her. Done. So that's a powerful lesson there also, that we need to be the triple C, clear, concise creation, like Jarin was saying, desire, declare, demand. These are brilliant, Jarin. I love it. I wrote them down as you were saying them. It's just such a nice little cheat sheet to creation. Beautiful.
Yeah, and think about your life, right? And if you were to ask somebody for something and you weren't sure what to ask them, right? You didn't have a good idea. You're like, well, I want a drink. Well, what kind of drink do you want? I don't know. Maybe milk, maybe some juice. I don't know. What do you got? Like, this is what people go around every day. And I've seen it in the gym as a personal trainer as well. They don't know what they're doing. They go to the gym. They're just there to like get in shape. Well, what does that mean? They don't have a plan. And we walk around as human beings in these creative, amazing bodies and souls and spirits that can create on command. But we don't know what we want. We're not clear. We're not concise. And we're not commanding anything. So we have a lot of times what we're clear on is what we don't like. And that's helpful. But we got to get the other step, right? And we go through life to make these mistakes to understand what we don't like. Well, I don't like that flavor of ice cream. I know that for sure. I don't want that one, right? So we understand that part, but we don't understand how to get to the next part, which is clear, concise goals, right? This is what I want and where I want to go. This is who I am. Because we constantly are getting distracted. The law of distraction, as we talk about a lot on this show. Law of distraction is out there everywhere. And as soon as you want to do something really good for yourself, that's when it's really coming strong. Because it really wants to know, do you really want this? Because we're going to give you 7 distractions and see if you choose that one thing that you really want to do. Because the other 7 are tough ones. You got your beeping phone. Oh, I might have a message. You have your a dog got out, in the backyard, and you're like, oh no, I got to get the dog inside. There's all these things that are going to distract you at all times, and especially when you go for that great new you, the place you want to really go. It's going to test you, and so you got to see, is that faith, is that discipline going to stay there? And so a lot of us get right off that track immediately, and sometimes that distraction will take you away from your path for a month, for a year, for decade. So be careful, because really pay attention and stay on track with your clear, concise stuff. And as Jarin says, write it down, because that's something that you can put on your refrigerator. That's something that you can put in your desk where you sit down a lot, because it's there, it's physical, and you open it up and you say, that's what I wrote down yesterday. Oh yeah. We forget, we lose track, we stop our focus. But if we can refocus, we can re-look at things, we can look at something 3 times a day, then you start to program that in, and you can go really far with that. So that's good stuff. Anything you want to finish, Jen?
Yeah, I just commenting on you saying how let there be light is a command, but it's also an asking. It's more gentle. I love that, because what it's saying is, even as people view the creator, the ultimate creator in their mind, that creator did not do it from his ego or her ego or its ego. It did it in knowing that the universe is loving and giving and all encompassing. So even God himself knew that it's beyond him, but he knows that through him it will happen. So if you think about it, let there be light. What it's doing is it's making yourself available. Think about anything you want to create, that you don't have to do it alone. It doesn't come only from your energy. It comes from the entire existence itself and all the energies of this, let alone the invisible world, the creator inside of you, the visible world of the natural universe and its elements. Nama Shivaya. And right, that's the elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether. That is what creates it. So we want to command it. Yes, that's the yang perspective. But the yin perspective, and this is where Esther Hicks' ask and it's given also works and also is correct, that asking for the kingdom to bring it to you. It's not you, but you are saying, this is what I'm going towards. Please bring it. And I think that that's important, because sometimes even when we're writing, we'll go back and forth between a little bit more assertion and then a little bit more prayer and asking. And both are actually required. Both are valid. It's just in the approach of your believing that it is going to happen, and also knowing that there is other powers that will help do it for you. One of my favorite statements to finish for myself that I wrote in years ago is, the whole entire universe is collaborating together to help me create and experience all my dreams far more amazing, spectacular than I can even imagine. The whole entire universe is collaborating together to help me create and experience all my dreams far more amazing than I could even imagine. Now, I'm saying that statement so you can see, of course, Jarin's visualizing that he's going to have all of his dreams come true and it's going to be amazing. but I'm saying that the whole universe actually wants me to. It actually wants to help me, and I'm allowing it to help me. And these principles are stated for me right now to get us outside of the ego consciousness creating. Ye are God, 368. No, ye are gods, 369. Knowing that there are many conscious creators out there, and the universe works together, not against you, if you get in flow in the harmony of it.
Yeah, great stuff there. What we're going to do is we're going to go into the Greg Schumacher experience. And then when we come back after that, Gila, we want to talk a little bit about people who can... people can... Channel. Yes, channel through them people. So, or whatever, entities that can say things and can do things, like law of attraction, right? Esther Hicks. So we're going to talk a little bit about that after this. So enjoy the Greg Schumacher experience. Hello and welcome to this week's The Greg Schumacher Experience. This week we are talking about Clint Eastwood. So Toby Keith was out golfing with Clint Eastwood, and during their golfing match, Toby asked Clint, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And Clint Eastwood said, "Tomorrow is my 88th birthday, and I'm starting a new movie." Toby said, "Whoa, man, like, that's crazy. You're 88, and you're starting a new movie. Look at you." And he said, "Let me tell you something, Toby. When the old man comes knocking, I don't answer the door." So you see, folks, it's all mindset. Yes, we're all going to age. Yes, we're all going to have our joints ache. We're going to have aching backs. We're going to have a tough time getting out of bed. We're not going to have the stamina we used to at times. But the thing is, you can push through that with your mindset. And the better your mindset, the stronger you're going to be towards age. Age is just a number, as they say. As long as you keep that right mindset. I'm 44 years old, and I feel like I'm pretty close to some of the best shape of my life. Cardio-wise and weight-wise and all that type of stuff, pretty darn close to my peak. So I'm maintaining. But the thing is, people come up to me and ask me, how do you get the muscles, or blah, blah, blah. And I say to them, for me, personally, it's been consistency for 20 years. I haven't stopped. Maybe at times with an injury or a sickness or whatever, but I never let it go that long. I don't go years without working out and then go, oh geez, I should work out again. And then go to the gym, start it up again for a month, and then quit again. It's consistency. It's being disciplined. It's knowing how important it is to maintain. And when you maintain, you can have bad days. You can have bad days at the gym. You can have bad days running. You can have bad days eating. But if you're consistently doing things the right way, 80-20 rule, 80% of the time you're doing things the right way, 20% of the time you screw around, you're gonna be all right. Everything's gonna shape out the right way. I remember my 10-year reunion for high school. I remember going there with a friend of mine, and we looked around and we said, boy, some people just aren't aging well. 10 years, that's it. They're 28, and they're already looking like old men or old women. So again, mindset, doing the right things, staying youthful, staying playful, staying fun, doing things like not complaining, instead of complaining, going out and doing something fun, right? Turning things that are tough situations into a creative moment, those type of things. Keeping yourself youthful and young. What does a kid do in the sandbox? What does a kid do in the backyard? What does the kid do in the trampoline? He makes up stories and imagination and makes a whole big
amazing, fun adventure out of everything that they do. So remember to do that, even as an adult, even as an 88-year-old. All right, everybody, keep that youthful mindset. And that was this week's The Craig Schumacher Experience.
All right. Youthful mindset, everybody.
Yeah. Great. Love it. Love it when we get into that. That's, you know, age isn't anything else, you know, is half your belief and half natural law. And we could live hundreds of years if we had the correct view of it. And thankfully, I just want to say, since we are transitioning out of the carbon-based body, the meat body, thank God I've had enough of that, and into the crystalline body, all these things will change, including age itself. We will not even be aging. But while we get there, it's all in your mindset. And I absolutely agree, Greg, that when you look around, you can see that people as a whole are aging much faster than they should be.
Yeah, and you know, Ishmael talks about how this is our last hurrah. This is our bodies, and this is what we are going to be crystallized in. So get used to them and have fun with them, and don't abuse your temple, so to speak. You know, you can have, like I said, 80-20 rule is set up so that you can have your fun, you can have your toxic behavior and your, you know, a little bit of down the wrong road for a little bit, but you're going to maintain that 80% and go the right direction most of the time. And that's where the secret lies. So, you know, as we move into the new earth, obviously we'll become a lot more advanced in our own bodies, technology and DNA and all that kind of stuff. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourself and keep that youthful nature. Keep that laughter. Laughter is a huge one. That's releasing all kinds of fantastic chemicals and everything else. So great stuff there. All right. So let's watch the clip real quick of the 9,000, because I thought this was important. 9,000 out of 8 billion people, what they can do. And then we'll get into the channeling here. So bring that on over. And
it could take only 8,000 or 9,000 of us holding the highest vibration to manifest the highest timeline. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Does that sound
interesting concept. Maybe we need 9,001. Who knows?
That's why we're having these conversations, to unite our hearts, all of us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I firmly get that the more people on the planet that raise their vibration and they come out of the vibration of fear and switch into the vibration of love, well, of course, what's going to happen on Mother Earth? You know, we're suddenly going to have a switch, and we could have it overnight, Gila. If everybody went to bed tonight and said, in the morning, I'm going to come from my heart, I'm going to drop all the fear I've got in my body, and I'm just going to be a loving, beautiful, loving being, shining a loving light. What do people think we would have instantaneously? We wouldn't have to wait for it. We would have instantaneously a completely loving world, and every single dark being on this planet would simply disintegrate because they wouldn't be able to stay in that vibration, because their low vibration, they would explode in a second.
It's true. It's the law of manifestation, the law of attraction. It's Einstein's, you will match whatever reality to the frequency that you're holding. Instantaneous. Yeah. I deeply understand that. So that's our intention.
So that was super powerful right there. That was an amazing moment that I picked out, because both of you hit on something very, very important here. Number one, if we choose, and what we're doing right now is pushing this agenda on the planet, all of us here, the family of light, pushing love to the surface. Choose love first, not fear. The media is feeding you fear. The general public is feeding you fear. Your own mind and your own voice inside your head is feeding you fear. But if you choose love, and we have enough people choosing love, and like you said, maybe 9,000, maybe more, that it can catapult the planet. And what does the dark entities, the deep state, the Illuminati, the Skull and Bones, whatever you want to call them, whatever club that is, what power do they have after that? They don't. They can't control the planet anymore because we're choosing love. So that was a super important point there. And I loved what you guys said there. That was like a magical moment. That was a super powerful, magical moment. So congratulations for coming up with that moment. That was so
Thank
impactful.
you. Thank you. You know what? His answer was so funny to me because he goes, maybe it's 9,001. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Each human being is so vital. You don't know if you're that one that's going to tip the scale. So the work you're doing in your personal life, in your own heart, could be tipping the whole thing over for the rest of us. So I loved his answer.
Yes, absolutely. Jarin, what did you think about that?
You know, I've obsessed over numbers in my life and looking at all these kind of principles, and I've come to the conclusion that currently in this moment, I have no idea what the actual math is. However, having said that, I think it's pretty close to this. Let's picture you have 3 people creating. That's at the power of 9. So you have yourself, but when you gather with 3, you have the power of 9. So think of how exponential that is. You have 1,000, you're at the power of 1,000,000. You have 1,000,000, you're at the power of 1,000,000,000. So whatever the numbers are, it does not take a large percentage to shift the planet, let alone in the whole story of this whole epic we're in. But those that get into their creator selves and do it in a moment, we can ohm it in instantaneously if we gather together and if we focus and do it.
Yeah, great
We
stuff.
can ohm it in. Let's ohm it in.
Yes, absolutely. Ohm it in, baby. And that's why we do our Wednesday night, gathering. And Gila helped us the one week with the collective co-creation event. And that's just what we're doing. And many other people around the planet are trying to do these things, get people together and concentrate on this new earth coming. And it's not like going to church and trying to praise something. That's not what it's about. It's about your own empowerment, bringing you as the powerful being forward and co-creating together. That's the amazing math that happens. So let's talk about channeling, because we've seen this a lot. We've seen this with Esther Hicks and Law of Attraction, which is probably one of the more famous ones. So you had on Andrew, and he channels through him. And what was your thoughts on this, and what did you find out?
I wanted to understand the process. I'm such a practical person. I want to write down the steps on how he channels, but it wasn't like that. He said it's not even a feeling for him. It's just a knowing. He knows when Malki Tzedek is with him, and when the words are his, and when the words are being channeled. So, it's just about getting in touch with your own internal world to know the difference between what is your frequency, to know your own frequency, and to know when your frequency is channeling something through, like the download that Guru was talking about, the downloads that are such the juice of life. And Jarin and I on Friday, I think we had this experience like in real time, when he was telling me about, my specific gene codes and describing all the language around it. And then I said to him, I was looking for the word that I wanted to describe how I wanted the universe to treat me. And I said to him, Jarin, I'm like, Jarin, I just want to be, and then I was looking at, and then the word kind of, and if I think back, it dropped in like an airdrop. And the word, I said, I just want to be delighted by the universe. And then in the next page, he turns the page and he goes, what was it again, Jarin?
Oh, well, your evolutionary gift, the most important gift that you have in your ascension is to be delighted.
Wow.
And
so she used the exact word.
the exact word. And we both had a
Exact.
minute where you felt it and I felt it, that we had a minute where God was inside our conversation with us. Or, something divine had dropped. It was an airdrop. And I was like, it took my breath away.
Wow. That's an amazing
And I was
experience.
delighted. I was delighted by the word delighted.
It happened instantaneously. You were delighted by the universe. It did it for you.
Exactly.
It showed you the power in that moment and said, oh, yeah, well, here it is. And it served it to you. And that's an amazing experience right there.
It was because Jarin opened the space. When I'm talking to him, we're very much in the moment. And I'm very much just absorbing the information. And like you were saying in the beginning of the show, when you are inside the moment, that is when you're going to be able to receive. When you're outside of your own way.
Yeah, you get out of your own ways for sure. Using the moment. We've all heard this before. Be in the moment, stay in the moment. That's where the best things are going to happen. And I remember to myself, like, through my awakening, I'm like, what is the moment? I don't understand what the moment is, and it takes time to understand that, like, just a breath, just a moment of like no thinking, close your eyes, just allow it. And that's where the power comes from. And those downloads, we think about it, like when I wrote my book or my 2 books, a lot of it came just through download, right? I just started writing and it just started flowing. And I'm like, I don't even know what I just wrote. Like, I got to go back through and read it. And how is that any different than a law of attraction or what Andrew's experiencing? They just give it a name. I don't know the name of what's downloading through me, but it's happening. It happens in great moments. It happens in moments when me and Jarin are talking. It happens in moments when me and Victoria are having a really awesome time, especially like if you're just like, let's say, laying out by a lake and you're just enjoying the sunset or something. That's when these amazing times happen, because you're allowing the moment to teach you. You're not trying to control it. You're not trying to be that something. You're just allowing. And when you allow, that's when the miracles happen.
Yes, I had that when I was writing my book also. As I was writing, I would feel like an electrical energy coming in through the left side of my body. And I didn't understand what it was in the beginning. And it was kind of uncomfortable, especially when I was writing for the local newspaper. This electrical feeling would wake me up out of sleep sometimes. And I would have to write down the thought that came to me with this electrical feeling. So I'm learning to understand the signs of my own experience in my own body when I'm receiving messages. And I think we all have this ability. And as we become crystalline, like Jarin was saying, all of us, these abilities will, come in for all of us.
Absolutely. And saying a couple things, first of all, the mind can't understand the moment. The mind cannot be in the moment when you're thinking. So the understanding is that being in the moment truly means you cannot be thinking. That's when you're in the moment. So not that kill thinking again, that's not what we're talking about, but that's how you get into the moment. And it's easier said than done, but that's where we're going. I just want to talk specifically a few things about the channeling, in the sense of, I think it's always vital that if you're intending to connect with other entities and energies, you're very intentional about who and what they are, about who and what they are, or about who and what you want to hear from. Because when you open yourself up, you can, if you're not intentional, which in other words is being discriminatory, you can let anything in, anything. So you want to be intentional. I always like to say, besides angelic help and everything else, is my higher self. And doing that, I often will do things like, say I'm about to have a session with someone, or I'm about to have some important event. My intention is that I am divinely guided in ways that heal, inspire, awaken, whatever it may be. I'm giving myself to the divine through me, knowing that that is only pure, that is only clear. Now, what it is may change. Sometimes it may be my higher self. Sometimes it may be guides. It may be angels. It may be Pleiadians. It may be this. It may be that. It may be the Akashic Records itself. Everything is available to you when you're out of the ego and you have the intent that you can do it. But it does not come from your thinking. It pops in. So I just wanted to touch upon being clear with your channeling, that where it's coming from, because you can get yourself in a lot of different kind of flavors of entities if you're not intentional.
Yeah. And Gila, Andrew did talk about other people who channel. He feels like he can tell when it's genuine channeling from a good spirit or something that's not correct. And he says a lot of people do that with Jesus and different things like that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be some famous, somebody they know, but he could tell the difference. And he said he's been doing it for so long, for 20 some years, that he can feel the difference, knows the difference, and sees the difference in people when they are channeling something that doesn't seem like, okay, you better be careful, because that's not something that you want to be channeling to people. So it's in the message as well. So we have to be careful, because he said not only in the human aspect are there good and evil and different intentions and different intent in people, also in the spiritual realm, in the unseen realm, can be the same manipulation going on. We have to be careful there. Anything extra on that insight?
Just exactly what you said. He said if it's coming in through the heart chakra, I believe is what he said. If he could feel it in his heart, then he knows it's from a good source. And if he can't, I think the way I interpreted that is if it's a fear message, anything that makes you afraid is not, that's not kosher.
Yeah,
it's not coming from that. Mm-hmm.
He did talk about God, and he said that, the way that religions had put God into this box of you better be good or else you're going to hell, is like the weirdest way of looking at God. God is just this flowing energy that is nor female or male or anything, just this flowing, amazing energy that is there for love. He loves you, and or it loves you, whatever you want to call it, the energy, and wants to experience life through you. You are the vehicle to experience life, and in the big picture of things, you are God. You are part of God. You are God. You are a part of it that is experiencing life through the yin and yang, through the, bad and good. And you get to choose your adventure, like in a choosing your adventure book, and to see what paths you choose. And the bounce here, understand what is you like, what you don't like, what resonates with you, and then bounce to here, carrying with you the things you want to carry from that last place. And so this is your bounce all through life until you figure out your path. So obviously with all the manipulation, though, on top of that, it's a lot harder to get where you wanted to probably end up, where we are now at this point, going down these paths of the correct cosmic human design, the correct way of vibrating and understanding life. All these things were there to kind of manipulate it and just throw it off just that hair so that you couldn't get there very quickly. Jarin, anything to add?
Yeah, let me just say that the higher your vibration is in the moment, the more you will be in pure, positive thought, feeling, everything. When you rise to a certain point, so in other words, doing your practices that causes your frequency to go up, that means there are no distractions and you're totally in inspiration and you're using things to raise your vibration. You cannot even think negatively. I have been in moments where it is impossible to think anything negatively, where it's impossible to not even know that we are ascending and it's already happened, where it's impossible, you're connected with the birds. You'll go like this and the wind will blow. I've done it millions of times. I'm serious. But only when I'm in those vibrations and we're going up steadily, steadily, steadily. But we always have the choice to do that. So rather than coming from a mental or even emotional construct, it has to do with just your pure frequency. And when you elevate, 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 yes, then you will be able to communicate with other Gregs and Gilas that you just cannot see, that can communicate to you, that will be from pure essence. Because as the frequency is higher, it raises in the essence of who those beings are and how they're helping you. If you're getting channeling when you're in a bad state or drunk or whatever, you might have to question it. But if you do it when you're in a high frequency, you'll notice and you'll know the difference. And only your body can tell you, So I just think the power of us raising our vibration, whatever the method is the key to all things. You don't even have to do anything when you get to that place. You can choose to be a genie and consciously create something, but even just elevating itself will ascend your own genetics, and it will bring you into the destiny that's already prepared for you in its highest light if you get your vibration up.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things to help you get in that vibrational alignment is music. That's a big one. So, go out there, find some good music, and look for that. What is it? 432 hertz, the better hertz for you, and the harmony hertz. If you haven't heard that before, go look that up, because that's some good stuff there. All right, everybody. Looks like we've got to the end of the show here. That went quick, huh? So I just wanted to say that I really enjoyed this show. That's not the music I wanted. There it is. All right. Really enjoyed this show. I thought it was really cool and full of expansion. This was an expansion show to me. And I really hope that people who watch this can really feel that understanding and really start to expand themselves from this kind of information. We thank the Guru for being on with us. We thank Gila for being on with us. I'm sure we'll see much more of her. And Jarin, anything to add?
Great show. Loved it. Greatest show ever created, once again. Just a joke, everybody. Connect with Gila's channel.
Yeah.
What is that, Gila?
On YouTube, it's Gila Jed channel on YouTube. And then I also have a Telegram channel by the same name. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have those in the link below, I believe. So if you can look for Gila's links, you can go click on her stuff. And, of course, her book as well. Go grab her book off of Amazon. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We did not have the Sunshine News this week. We'll get back to our regularly scheduled program next week. And we are very happy that you guys are joining us. Again,
like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe for sure. You can go to our Locals channel as well. If you're on Rumble, you can click on Locals and go over there and help us out if you'd like to donate to the show and to continue our expansion as we move into this new earth. And everybody in your mind today, walk around with a great, youthful, amazing spirit inside of you, and let's all usher this new earth forward. Every day that we do this, we push like a bulldozer forward and really take away that darkness. And the light, the dark can't hide from the light. So we are coming. The light warriors are coming. All right, everybody. We will see you next week for Ishmael. And don't forget, Wednesday night, we have our co-creation. If you want to join us, go over to linktree.com/rise.tv. All right, we'll see you next time.